ramin da ta yi mutane tsoro suna kuma ko rejiyo ne inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un yanzu cikin daren nan muna zaune muka ga wani abu ya faɗo ya biyo wanda muke zargin na kiyace.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? Yesterday, when you were busy celebrating Christmas, Donald Trump decided it'd be a good idea to launch an airstrike against ISIS targets, or so we were told, over inside of Nigeria. What you're looking at is footage that came out of the village over there known as Jabo. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's up over in northwestern Nigeria. This reportedly ended up taking like this video footage right here, and I've got lots of footage from a lot of the debris and things like that that came out, followed that airstrike. And so the villagers had came out. Now, this village allegedly is predominantly Muslim, and we got told that this airstrike ended up taking place in order to combat the ongoing genocide over inside of Nigeria. Over 7,000 Christians this year have been killed in Nigeria. So question is whether or not we got told the truth on this particular airstrike, because when I first saw this video here, I saw a big fireball in the middle of a field. And I even questioned whether or not this was an actual video of the airstrike itself. Now, something's definitely on fire there. I have no idea what it is. And this, again, took place outside of the village, as you guys can see. It wasn't inside of the village. There's a lot of videos floating around on social media right now that appear to be fake, just to be perfectly honest with you guys. It comes out of everything else. But nonetheless, Trump ended up making this announcement. I hope you guys had the best Christmas ever, by the way. Trump says, tonight in my direction as commander-in-chief in the United States, we launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwestern Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was, or so he was told. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christian continues. Sincerely, your President, Donald J. Trump. Corey says, Merry Christmas, Matt. I hope you enjoyed your family time. I just want to say I love each and every person in here, and I hope your holidays are blessed. Yeah, I hope your guys' holidays are blessed as well. I don't want to take too much of your time today. I want you guys to kind of get an overall scope and general understanding of what was actually taking place with these strikes. Fox News is reporting that these strikes did, in fact, occur with coordination from the Nigerian government as well. Go ahead, give this a listen.
It's key. But I remember a month ago, that very government denied that there was even a problem in their country. So what changed?
Yes, the coordination with the Nigerian government is key, because it's not like the United States is trying to start a war with Nigeria, but United States intelligence agencies identified that this is where the ISIS planners and this is where the ISIS attackers are congregating in Nigeria, a safe haven. And so they went and they took them out. In terms of past statements by the Nigerian president, part of that is obviously political, but it is a tough decision for a president of any country in the world to get a call from the United States, somebody at the Pentagon, who says, hey, you have a bunch of terrorists congregating somewhere in your country. We're going to come and kill them unless you tell us not to.
Yeah, and Peter, so I was looking.
So here you have, United States government claiming that we ended up coordinating with the Nigerians. And like he said, they didn't exactly like us wanting to meddle around in their country in the first place. Ended up finding some more reporting. And don't worry, I've got way more footage than that, as along with some of the munitions that ended up, hitting afterwards. Why this is playing music is beyond me. It drives me nuts. Why would you do that to me right now? Hold on. Let me just go ahead and pause, whatever the hell that is. No idea where that came from. All right, here we go. All right, so there's an article from Business Today. Security forces on alert as U.S. strikes terrorist in Sokoto. Now, I'll put this up on the map for you guys here in just a little bit, but Sokoto is kind of like the overall, I guess, like state with like the smaller village down there over in the, for you American viewers that are watching this, with the village of Jabo being like down there. So they're down there. It's a rural community in Tambuwal local government area. Top military source speaking exclusively to Business Today confirmed the U.S. led airstrikes targeting ISIS positions in northwestern Nigeria, where this place is actually located, linking the strikes to an increased military activity in the region. Source noted that about 10:26 p.m. on December 25th, an unknown device suspected to be explosive ordnance fell from the sky and detonated in a bush close to Jabo village, producing a loud bang and a bright flash of light. Security sources said no lives were lost and no injuries or property damage. All right, so here we have security sources from inside of Nigeria that are claiming that no property got damaged, no lives were lost, and that the bomb ended up hitting a bush. And remember, Nigeria didn't like us meddling over there anyways, and there was a lot of pressure against Trump to go after these terrorists that are targeting Christians over inside Nigeria. Military personnel attacked to Jabo forwarding operating base were said to have arrived at the scene. And yes, that is true. We do have them at the scene. I'll show you guys that here in a minute, with EOD securing and removing fragments of the device to their base for further examination. Police authorities alongside reinforcement units cordoned off the area while arriving officer of command EOD and his team conducted a detailed assessment. Security officials said further findings will be communicated as it continues. So that's what we have as far as any of that goes, right? That's the official reporting that's coming out of there. Yeah, F that bush, ladies and gentlemen. You are correct. So what are the debris that ended up getting pulled off there? I took a couple of these right here, and I'm going to put one up on your screen. These are all ones that allegedly ended up coming out of that village. All right, and I'll show you guys some of the videos and stuff that go along with it. This right here, and all of these, this one, this one, this one, and this one, I ended up taking and dumping over into AI. I cannot identify bombs that well just based off these debris. But AI is capable of taking the manufacturing parts, dates of manufacture, and all that other stuff, and throwing these in and determining what type of strike actually ended up occurring. And this part right here was actually crucial and key to identifying the particular munition that ended up getting used. So it actually looks like a cruise missile, not a Tomahawk. All right, a cruise missile was launched that went over and ended up taking out this sucker. And it's got like these other components. They all go down towards precision guidance systems and all of that other stuff. And the reason cruise missile kind of goes in there is because of this right here. All right, this appears to be a mounting bracket, all right, for, the fins or the wings that end up coming off these cruise missiles. This appears to be a component / mounting bracket that would go ahead and control those fins. Jeff Manji says the Nigerian government is behind the killing of Christians. Yeah, no kidding. No wonder why we didn't kill anybody in this strike. Everybody, and thank you for bringing that up, because that goes into the next common sense aspect here. If the Nigerian government is actually backing and allowing all of this crap to happen, right? Because they had a coup, 2 years ago, and you're under military control, blah, 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 blah. So if they had a coup and these terrorists are running amok over there killing all of these Christians, and the U.S. says we're going to do something about it, and then the footage comes out and it looks like we struck a bush and didn't kill anybody, well, maybe we're just trying to do something symbolic here on Christmas Day, allegedly sending a message. And again, the debris speak for themselves. You take all these and you put them in, and I ended up writing up a short post about this for you guys to go over and read on what it comes out to be. AGM 158 Joint Air to Surface Standoff Missile. So this thing would have been air launched, sending it out there. This is what they ended up identifying as the actual munition itself. When we go over and we take a look at what's actually on the ground, hold on. Ooh, hey, stop talking. Let's go take a look at what's actually on the ground, reportedly coming out of this village for you guys to be able to see that. And that would be this video right here. And there's going to be another follow-on video here in just a sec. This one's going to be really short. It's going to show a guy talking. I have no idea what the hell he actually is saying when he comes up on the screen, because he's speaking in, local language, but this is just some of the crap on the ground. You can see a bunch of stuff and all the villagers standing around. Now, notably outside of this village, what you don't see is people with body bags or anything like that. You don't hear anybody complaining about it. So that's something that in my mind started immediately sticking out as I started to dig into this a little bit deeper this morning, is that we don't have anybody complaining. We don't have anybody stating that they ended up killing people. Instead, we have a bunch of people standing in the open outside of the village, which you can see in the background here, all right, amongst the debris and ground and all of that, and nobody's dead. Kind of weird when you take a look at that. Then here we actually have the military that has arrived and is roping off the area. You guys can see it right here. They're literally staking it out and roping it off. I wish this video had panned down to the ground a little bit more so we could get a better crater analysis on this thing, but we ended up not seeing it. That was Santa in the chimney. I don't know about that. And for whatever reason, they're going after this pile in particular. So what the U.S. could have actually ended up hitting, and this is my belief, is like munition storage and things like that. And you'll see why I believe that here in just a second, because they're roping this thing off in particular, and you've got a bunch of stuff that's up there. I do not believe that this is the actual strike location. What I actually believe is this is probably like a munition storage location and all that other crap. All right. And likely you have like EOD units that are showing up in order to cordon that off. And so likely because the U.S. was coordinating with Nigeria, maybe the Nigerians stacked up a bunch of crap and told the United States government that these are ISIS, weapons caches and things like that. Greenpeace is absolutely up in arms, 3AM Forge. They're absolutely up in arms. Absolutely. And here you have them inspecting and digging and doing all of those other things. The actual strike location itself, you guys are about to see on video, and then I can even pull up some other videos for you guys that show some of like the debris and stuff like that that's actually being carried off. If you guys want to see that, I can show you where I got those from. But here you have, again, allegedly some of the stuff that was stuck, some of the stuff that was struck, and all you really see is that same thing that they were digging after, but these things are on fire. And again, different components that ended up coming off these suckers, being carried off the ground. There's actually tons of freaking videos of this stuff that I could pull up for you guys right now, if you actually want to see it, and it's just fine. Here's another set of images that comes out that just kind of confirm everything I've been telling you guys, that you have these munitions that ended up striking out over in the field, and we've got these piles of crap that are on fire. If it was a cruise missile and it ended up detonating up above it at some certain distance, I have no idea. We don't really have the details of it, but again, we've got several videos coming out of this location. We've got the local reporting that says nobody died at all, which is shocking to me. Here's another one.
Inna ilaihi raji'una. Jama'a ku taimako ku ga mun dauki muna nan a garin Jabo. Muna zanne cikin dare kawai mun gaji wani itila'i yaran mun nan laki nuclear ta yi muna sauki. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'una. Jama'a ku diba wutar ta. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'una. Allah kai mun tsari, Allah shi kare mu. Allah shi mun tsari, Allah shi kare mu. Inna ilaihi raji'una. Jama'a.
So you guys tell me, because these are the videos, that first one that I ended up showing you and this one, of the actual strike locations, and some stuff that's kind of on fire afterwards. And to me, it appears that we didn't really target human beings. We targeted weapons caches. And again, I believe that can be easily substantiated when we go back and we reference the video that has the actual local officials that are showing up and kind of like looking at everything. That to me says that is exactly what we ended up hitting, these massive freaking brush piles out there. I really don't think we targeted individuals. I don't think we targeted ISIS fighters. I don't think we did crap. I think we just went after what we were told was munition stockpiles by the Nigerian government. And to me, it looks like those stockpiles are likely just garbage. Trash, things stacked up. I mean, even if you were trying to conceal this stuff from the sky, making a giant mound of freaking bushes wouldn't really do a good job. I'm assuming that the locals probably do this for like farm life and things like that that's out there. And so maybe it's just something that's normal, and the U.S. ended up launching tons of these strikes over there after it in order to get them. Have you ever done a BDA on a strike location? I did. I did after a 500-pounder in an area with reeds. There is no circular explosion pattern. Yeah, no, I understand that, and that's why I'm saying that you could be looking at fallout debris that ended up catching things on fire, everything else. But this is what they are reporting as the strike location, and these are the videos that are coming out of it. So yeah, Eric, I have, and I've dropped plenty of freaking bombs and walked through plenty of freaking spaces afterwards, and that's why I'm kind of with you that not a lot of this crap ends up stacking up from what the government's telling us versus what's being reported on the ground by the Nigerian government. So let's say this isn't the strike location after all. Okay, well, why the hell is the media reporting that they're talking to members of their security forces on the ground over there, and they're stating that they ended up not having any casualties, and the United States government is coordinating with the Nigerians, and there's 0 casualties, and it looks like open fields basically were caught on fire, right? And then we have them going over and inspecting these massive piles of crap. And you, sir, just like me, Eric, would know that if I'm worried about explosives and I'm roping this entire freaking area off and all of that other crap, do you think I'm allowing 1,000 civilians to gather up and around me as all of this is going down? Or do you think I'm pushing them back because I don't want this whole thing to explode? And then further, if you have these large munition stockpiles outside of the village, every single one of those people standing around know exactly who put that crap there, and it's likely people that are living there. Let's just be honest about this. is a low probability that ISIS ended up entering in this village and telling everybody just to be quiet and that they're going to end up stockpiling stuff outside the village and don't touch it and to stay the hell away. Those people wouldn't be over there either. They know exactly what the hell's on the ground. Government's looking into it, and we have all of this misreporting that's coming back and forth in between them. So I'm not, like, honestly very pleased with a lot of this stuff that's coming out of there. But these locals, again, are carrying these bomb components out of that same location. Let me grab this for you guys so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, this isn't stuff that Matt's making up. All right, it's coming directly out of that area. I want to grab this for you. And show you guys this. Because it shows them carrying these different parts off. Hollywood Marine, thank you, sir, coming in and gifting out those memberships. Let's see, original one. Where did it go? Got way too many of these videos stacked up today. Dang it, man. I literally just had it. I wonder if I still have it open over here. I want to show this to you guys because it's freaking annoying. They're literally carrying the debris away from the fire. Like, I've taken snapshots and screenshots of the debris being carried out of there. Apparently I didn't put it in here, and I greatly apologize to you guys for that. I should have had it though. See if it ends up pulling it up this way. You guys, I've got about 5 seconds of this left with inside my brain before I go ahead and say I'm done looking for that video real quick, just to keep you guys up there. And my brain's about expired. Here we go. Here it is. Nope, that is just an image of it. Son of a biscuit. What did I do with the dang video? I hate myself sometimes. You know that? You ever just hate yourself? It's after Christmas, everybody. Give me a break. All right, so moving on. Those components ended up moving out, and you can actually see several of these things, like I said, being carried off the X by local nationals. Wolfpack says, somebody gifted me a membership. Thank you, brother. Grateful for this community. I hate to tell you guys, but you're going to have to take my word on that because I just not going to be digging for that stuff live on air. It's just going to take too long. Now, so that's what's taking place in Nigeria. Now, the big problem that I ended up having is that we have this strike over inside Nigeria. Now, at the same, like within a couple of hours of that happening, Iran actually ended up seizing an oil tanker, according to Iran state officials. Here's your freaking tanker that they ended up seizing. And there's lots of video footage that ended up coming out of this. And the reason I'm bringing up oil tankers right now is because U.S. has just seized an additional oil tanker. So now U.S. has been seizing these oil tankers. And like I said, they were suspected to be, all right, part of like the IRGC who is operating these things that was taking the oil, shipping it up over to China. And then China, was buying the oil. And then the IRGC was using that funding in order to fund their ballistic missile program, along with funding terrorism like Hezbollah. And here's the catch. Iran went over and seized this vessel on the 26th. And what they are stating, or excuse me, what RT is stating, all right, and RT is going to be your Russia state media outlet, all right, for international news. What RT is stating is that this is a U.S. affiliated vessel. So as the United States is seizing vessels that Iran doesn't want to pretend like belong to them for funding terrorism, Iran turns around and seizes a vessel. And again, the name of the vessel hasn't been released. And RT coming out with this, while I hate RT and I don't think that they're a very reliable source, well, I do not think that RT is a very reliable source. RT says this is a U.S. owned vessel or U.S. affiliated vessel. Iran claims that this oil belongs to them and that it was like stolen / smuggled and then ended up catching it in Iranian waters before it ended up making its way out through the Strait of Hormuz. But the question is, why is it that Iran is now going after what RT is stating as a U.S. vessel when we're seizing vessels and oil tankers outside of Venezuela? Well, I think the answer is pretty freaking obvious because like Iran is just attempting to do its best to answer back to the United States of America for our seizing of their vessels outside of Venezuela. And we can back that up because Venezuela itself, or excuse me, China itself is pretty freaking pissed off and they are going off on the United States of America on an international level, screaming that the United States is conducting illegal operations. Here's your media sources for all this stuff. You got Euronews. Iranian Navy seizes foreign oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. All they're saying is that it is a foreign oil tanker. Iran's not coming out with the actual country of origin. We don't even have a name of this vessel, to be perfectly honest with you, for what they're seizing. But RT coming out and stating that it's American is significant because Russia obviously has close ties with Iran. So if Russia is stating it, you can pretty much assume that they end up getting that, especially Russia state media. You can pretty much assume that they're getting that from Iran itself. And that's a little bit troubling, particularly at a time, particularly at a time, and we've got multiple videos of this here, of Israel conducting new airstrikes against Hezbollah over inside of Lebanon. All right, Hezbollah heavily backed by Iran, and Hezbollah has been getting the crap bombed out of them all December long. So if Hezbollah is getting the crap bombed out of them, right, look at these. So if Hezbollah is getting the crap bombed out of him by Israel, at the same time the U.S. is going after oil tankers that are said to be Iranian, that the money goes to IRGC and funds this terrorism, you picking up what I'm putting down? And then the IRGC goes out and seizes a purported U.S.-owned vessel. All of a sudden, we've got links that are going all the way back. So do I think that what's taking place in Venezuela has direct ties to this? Absolutely, I do. I think the whole reason we're going after these drug runners, the whole reason we're going after these oil vessels and all of that other crap that's operating off the coast of Venezuela ties back to Iran, and it ties back to China. China and Iran have been doing some very, very dirty stuff. That was like 2 days ago. China announced going over and putting in I think we said it was 1,000 ICBMs, like nuclear capable ICBMs up by the Mongolian border. And then just today, China ended up announcing 20 new sanctions against 20 U.S. defense industry companies such as Northrop Grumman, and even prohibited sending the people from traveling into China. So they're all barred from traveling over to China. China ends up putting brand new sanctions on them. And all of this had to do with, I want to say it was an $11 billion defense weapons deal that ended up going over to Taiwan. China very much so looks like it's about to invade Taiwan, and the United States of America very much so looks like it's going after Iran. And all of this money is tied to both of those countries. The oil being sent over to China is coming out of Venezuela, and Iran is profiting from it, and so is terrorism. By the way, the same time that those strikes were taking place inside of Nigeria and inside Lebanon, over inside Yemen, it looks like Saudi Arabia ended up launching strikes against what the hell is their name? The Houthis again. So now it looks like Saudi Arabia is mounting up against the Houthis. We're going after Iran, and China is all over the place. And so the point I'm trying to make to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, is that during this Christmas season, that the writing is on the wall. And the writing is on the wall that both China, Iran, and Russia are all pretty pissed off about what we're doing over inside of Venezuela. What's taking place in Nigeria, honestly, to me, seems to be like some virtue signaling to the right that wants Trump to do something about the Christians. It doesn't really appear like we killed anybody. Hopefully they end up releasing some footage on that to get confirmation. Or the Nigerian government is just lying through its teeth about what took place to appease the people of Nigeria, which is also a possibility, right? Now, the other interesting thing coming up, and I want you guys to look at this, is that we have all of these different wars that are on the horizon. And I know I've mentioned this to you guys before, and you guys just kind of I don't know, some of you guys are listening, some of you guys aren't. God dang it, man. Some of you guys are listening, some of you guys aren't. I want to bring this up to you guys. China on January 1st is no longer going to be they have heavy restrictions when it goes to silver. Now, when you're talking about silver in the defense industry, it is very, very crucial. Over inside of China right now, per ounce, silver is trading at about $82, and US COMEX silver futures market is trading at about 75, 76. This exploded overnight on Christmas, by the way. It was at like 71, and now all of a sudden it's all the way up there. So what China is actually doing with this stuff is hurting our defense industry greatly. And if China is trying to stop our defense industry from getting hold of these precious metals, and if you guys didn't know, these things are used in bombs and all sorts of crap. They're used in guidance packages that strike inside of Nigeria. It's used in a ton of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And China is restricting the crap out of it. And Mexico is rumored to be doing that as well. And so if all of these people are on that and they're trying to do that, I want you to think, because China allegedly might start invading Taiwan or might start striking Taiwan sometime in the near future. And that's not very good. At the same time that the U.S. is rumored to be looking at bombing Iran again because Netanyahu's pushing it. Right now, the news coming out of Israel is that a strike on Iran is pretty much inevitable because Iran is refusing to back off of their weapons program, their ICBM program, and they're continuing to enrich uranium. And last week, over inside of the UN, the United States explicitly tried to extend an olive branch to Iran and tell them, please take this olive branch and stop doing this crap. And what we have right now is we have BRICS nations, all right, that are all partnering up, in my opinion, and going after the US dollar. All right. Yeah, it was 68 last week. And I'm telling you, it's going to keep going. In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you, like, the writing's on the wall, this crap's going to explode. Like, I did an analysis on this last night. This might push well north of like $125 by the end of January. Like, not joking. Look, it just crossed 76. It's a new all-time high. And every time that ticks green, it's a new all-time high. We cannot, inside of the United States, sustain what we are currently doing. And all of these wars that are currently on the horizon are all going to be affected by this, which is why I focus on it so heavily, guys. That's why I've been talking to you guys about it. That's why I was pointing it out, like 6-7 months ago to you about how it's short, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. And it's crucial to U.S. industry now. It's no longer just like a random commodity to be traded. It's something that we absolutely need. Our defense industry is built off of it. You want to build new bombs? You want to build new guidance packages for those bombs? You need this right here. And China is driving the price through the freaking roof and preventing exports. And it looks like Mexico might do the same thing. And by the way, what's in Mexico? All the cartels that we're not bombing and going after. And the U.S. is going after China's oil supply over inside Venezuela, affecting the IRGC. All of this puts painting on the wall for me. Like, the writing is on the wall. When we have all of this crap that's going on, it looks like war is probably on the horizon. Like, I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it looks like war's on the horizon, and everything's starting to point towards that. And Trump explicitly stated last year, if you are going after the US dollar, you are launching war on the United States of America. And right now we are going after the countries that are launching war on the freaking US dollar. And we're doing our absolute best to cut them out. Look at that sucker. Just jumped up to like 76.18. I told you guys, like, do not be surprised if by the end of January it's at 125. Now it's going to go back and forth and all this other crap, but it's going to keep going because there's just not enough in existence. And China is restricting the supply. Everybody's restricting it. And that hurts the defense industry. And guess who else it benefits? At the exact same time, guess who else it benefits? It benefits Russia. Why does it benefit Russia? Because Russia is currently at war with Ukraine. Guess what Ukraine needs? Ukraine needs those precision guided freaking packages and all of that crap for all of these different bombs. And it just drives the price way up. And the higher the price ends up going, the less munitions Ukraine ends up getting. That's what's happening. And it's so freaking bad. I don't know if you guys even know this or not. Trump ended up backing and coming out. You guys want to see something crazy if you really want. And again, I know this is a random Christmas Day podcast for you guys, but I want your guys' minds to be open up a little bit here. Trump ended up putting this out on Truth Social yesterday, like during Christmas. Let me see if I can find it. Trump basically backed Bitcoin yesterday on Truth Social, and I'm looking for the post that was on it. They ended up putting like a video out on all this crap, and it looks like the United States government is passing a bill for Bitcoin as well, to basically, you can pay your taxes with it and you won't have to pay capital gains on it. And earlier this year, Trump had actually announced some big change coming, like when he was talking about what the hell was the name of that bill back in like July, that there's going to be a big change coming to like the US economy. And he hinted towards crypto, and he hinted towards how we're going to be using that technology and everything else. And so personally, I think Trump knows the US dollar is kind of licked right now. He's been doing absolutely everything he can when you talk about the tariffs and stuff like that he started leveraging against these other countries. And remember, China was one of them, and that wasn't that long ago. And we put a hurt on the Chinese economy. All right. So we're going to war with the Chinese economy. They're going to war with our freaking economy, and they're going after some of our like most critical minerals that we need for our defense industry and also for production of a lot of other things. Right. Trump leveraged those tariffs in order to get more critical minerals. And if the dollar were sitting at almost 39 trillion in inflation right now, and all of this stuff is happening, the dollar is going to be grossly affected by all of this. Now, all of this matters to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, because if China is actually successful, if China itself is successful in going against, all right, that silver market, and they manage to restrict it to the point where COMEX defaults or the LBMA defaults, and the LBMA almost defaulted on deliveries last month. If they're successful in doing that, you're going to see a lot of inflation, a lot. And so when Trump is talking about having changes to the currency, changes to the economy, talking about Bitcoin, talking about crypto and all of that other stuff, why do you think it's happening? I want you guys to be prepared for 2026. I want you guys to enjoy your Christmas. I don't mean to scare you with all this other crap, right? But I just want you guys to know that this is what's actually taking place in the world, right? And the United States government isn't talking about it. And by the time it actually hits mainstream media, I want you guys, right, not to be shocked or not to be surprised by it, because it's going to start hitting mainstream media very, very close. Like very, very in the very near future, this stuff's going to start hitting mainstream media. And there's a lot of people that are going to be caught off guard, except for you, because you guys are informed. So I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a short update about that strike and some other things that were taking place around the world. And I want you guys to keep your eyeballs open and keep your heads on a swivel, because the holiday season isn't over yet. Terrorist attack ended up taking place over inside of Israel just this morning, where you had a guy driving around in his freaking pickup truck. He actually like ran somebody over, then jumped off and stabbed some freaking poor like 19-year-old girl. All right. We had another pipe bomb incident, believe it or not, inside the United States that ended up getting freaking stopped. All right, let me see here. Over inside Utah, for those of you guys that didn't know, police in Ogden, Utah arrested a 21-year-old man in possession of what officials said to be 6 complete and operational pipe bombs. This gentleman right here. All right, this took place, I want to say it was Christmas Eve. All right, all of this crap is happening. And these active shooter situations, all of this stuff, in my opinion, are being orchestrated by people overseas that are pushing this stuff online, recruiting like crazy people like him. And it's kind of weird how it's pipe bombs, right? So we've got this guy with a pipe bomb, like this guy doing pipe bombs. We've got the Turtle Island retards in California the week before they got picked up with pipe bombs. And we got the January 6th pipe bomb guy. All of these like weirdos, right? And you go look at the people from the Antifa affiliated group, the Turtle Island idiots, right? You got trans kids, like trans men, like all of that crap that's in there, just retards. And so they're going after these people that are mentally, in my opinion, handicapped. All right. And they're picking them out, and they're actually doing all this stuff. So that's what I think's happening. So keep your head on a swivel. You know, a lot of people are looking at terrorism as like old, right? They're thinking 2001 terrorist attacks. And what they do not need to do is send in people across the U.S. border in order to conduct these attacks. They find guys like him. They find like the Turtle Island one, and even the dude from freaking the January 6th pipe bomber. The dude from January 6th pipe bomber, freaking mildly autistic, allegedly had the mind of like a 16-year-old, weird online. We're not even going to talk about his freaking adult friend finder account that suggested he was gay and all of the other crap that goes into it, him looking for online pen pals. These are low-hanging fruit, and they've got lots of them around the country. So it's not just necessarily looking out for a guy that's shouting Allah Akbar, right, about to clack himself off. It's people like this, all right? So when these attacks are taking place, and remember, do not forget what ended up taking place on January 1st of last year either, okay? We ended up having the attack in New Orleans, and then we ended up having a Green Beret magically lose his mind and blow himself up over inside of Las Vegas. This highly trained expert decided it would be a good idea to get a freaking Tesla Cybertruck, you know, one of the most tracked, like easily tracked, easily shut down, all of that crap vehicles in the world, and just magically blow himself up. Couldn't build a competent enough bomb, was able enough to take himself out. No, let's not forget that the ignition actually came from underneath the passenger side dash, all right? And that he said his head was blown off. by a Desert Eagle. Intraorbital or intraoral, we don't know because they changed it both times. By the way, the video footage didn't show that either. Didn't show him with a freaking pistol, massive 50-80 pistol up to his face that we have had to hold with his thumb and fire it that way because it's so damn big. Ladies and gentlemen, please take care of yourselves this holiday season. It's Friday. I'm going to take the day. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do. It is the holiday season, and I suggest you guys do the same, right? Excuse me. It is a holiday season. I would like you guys to do the exact same, right? I love you guys. I want you to take care of yourselves. I want you to take care of your family and keep your freaking head on a swivel. All right. I want to appreciate every single one of you that ended up coming in and donating today. Spaceman Spiff says, do you think we are reliving 1939? Yeah, I kind of do. Right. What follows the Great Depression? War. What got us out of the Great Depression? War. Then we saw a robust economy that was booming and doing all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I do think we are doing that, man. And it certainly appears that way. But what it appears to be this time is greedy businessmen in the United States of America ended up controlling this fiat currency and screwing it up to the point, which, by the way, we have way more currency in circulation right now than ever before. Like it's actually, look at the amount of US currency that's been printed this year. It's still like going through the roof. All right. So when our currency's in the freaking tank, what do we use to bail us out, ladies and gentlemen? And right now, it's not just about Venezuela. We're pissing off Iran and we're pissing off China, and Russia's also pissed off. And they're attacking our economy and they're going after our defense industry. So keep that in mind and remember what the hell happened 1 year ago on New Year's Eve. Be smart when you guys are out and about celebrating, do all those things. I'm going to talk to you guys again before then. All right. I'll be talking to you guys again before then, but just keep your dang heads on a swivel, please. Please, for the love of God, please. Pray, do everything necessary, protect yourselves, protect your family, take care of it. Christers came in gifting out a Speak the Truth membership. Appreciate you, brother. Lanslow, the investigator, says this was more of a message than anything to Nigerian ISIS. That's what I think. All right. I also think that it might have just simply been the United States government trying to pacify the people. Wolfpack Fishing, someone gifted me a membership. Thank you, brother. Grateful for this community. Dude, I'm grateful for every single one of you guys. Jeff Manji, Nigerian government is behind the killing of Christians. 1000% agree with that statement. Corey Carroll, Merry Christmas, Matt. I hope you enjoyed your family time. I just want to say I love each and every person in here, and I hope your holidays are blessed. Thank you very much, my friend. They most certainly are. And Commander Sergeant Gez, good morning. Thank you very much, brother. Orderly Chaos says, I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. Always know your loved ones, right? And you know what? I didn't give you guys a Christmas message. I didn't do any of that, but I did put one out yesterday, and I want you guys to, I'm going to read it. You know, like I've been slacking on my devotionals and everything else, but in my opinion, this is a very good time. And so yesterday I ended up writing this, and this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. And I want you guys to think about this as we move forward into the freaking season as well. All right. So I want to take a moment to remind everybody of the most precious gift that has ever been given in history. It's called forgiveness. What does it mean to forgive? Today, I urge you to take a moment and think about the person in your life or past who has wronged you the most. Think about the pain they have caused you. Think about the emotional, financial, or social damage that you have endured because of this person. Now think about what it would take for you to truly forgive this person. Imagine being nice to this person, inviting them to your dinner table, feeding them, sharing a drink with them, protecting them, suffering for them, and even giving your life for them. Now I want you to think of a man sitting on death row who has committed the most brutal crime you can think of. Know that when Jesus died on the cross, he died for that man, not just for you. I've struggled through life and found my rest in the Lord. I didn't just blindly accept Jesus. No, of course, I had read the Bible, but that wasn't enough for me. I checked historical records and studied the Gospels. One thing's for certain, Jesus died on the cross. It's a historical fact. His disciples faced certain death just for spreading Jesus' teachings, and in fact, they were persecuted. Peter was crucified upside down. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross. James was beheaded. Philip was crucified. Bartholomew was flayed alive and then beheaded. Matthew was speared to death. James, the less, was thrown from a temple and beaten to death. Jude was clubbed to death. Matthias was stoned and beheaded. And the apostle Paul was also beheaded. All of them maintained that Jesus was the Lord for what they had witnessed, fully knowing their inevitable, painful death. This September, I had the privilege to kneel down, touch, and pray on the very stone from where Jesus was resurrected, and I'm not even ashamed to admit that I wept. Today, I urge you to find forgiveness in your heart. It's not easy, but I promise you guys, ladies and gentlemen, that you can do it. Peace, love, and happiness. You guys enjoy this freaking Christmas weekend with your family. Try not to stress too much over all this other crap that's going on around the world, and just enjoy yourselves. You know, just absolutely enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the holidays, but be safe. God bless. I'm out of here.
a zo a duba ba zo ake wurin